is something that I have been fighting with my whole entire life, and even up until this moment I still see it in myself, and it still to this day pisses me off. I really hate the fact that I am a people pleaser. I like to call myself a recovering people pleaser, but I am a people pleaser still. Like, I do still have those tendencies, and it does piss me off. I'm just so done with living my life for other people. I feel like when you are a people pleaser, you are essentially at the beck and call of other people, and you are so susceptible to being manipulated by others and what they want in the world, like what they want the world to look like. And that is just so draining, and it's like, no wonder we don't have energy to do the things that we need to do and to actually create a better life for ourselves, because we're literally wasting all of our energy on trying to make other people happy. And if you are a sensitive person like myself, I feel like a lot of my content, or all of my content, is for the sensitive girlies and guys, whoever is watching this. But if you are sensitive, you will know that you don't have as much energy as normal people. Things seem to deplete you quicker than they do for normal people, like social interactions, going out and drinking, overindulgence, office small talk with anyone. Like, all these things just wear us out so much, and it's like we then have nothing left to give to ourselves, and we get stuck in these perpetual cycles of just like feeling shit about ourselves because we are spending all of our time and energy in survival mode, essentially. Because that's what people pleasing is. It's survival mode. It's what you learnt to do when you was a kid to survive your environment, or to stay safe in your environment, to stay small and to stay in a situation where you wouldn't be in any danger. That is not necessarily the case for all of us now. Like, we are grown. We might be adults now. I'm an adult, but I don't know about you guys. We are probably not in that situation anymore, yet we are still acting the same way. And it's no light work. Let me tell you that right now. Like, I have been doing this work for so long, and I'm still trying to figure shit out. Like, I'm still trying to learn how to not be a people pleaser, because it's so deeply ingrained within me. But it's definitely my life work, I would say. It's definitely something that I'm working towards actively at the moment. When you are a people pleaser, you are essentially setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for resentment, because it's like, you know exactly what to do and what to say to appease other people. Like, you read a room and you can kind of understand the different needs of every single person. You can pick up on the energy, you can pick up on what you think they would want to hear, and you tailor and adjust your responses and the way that you show up in that room to that person or whoever is in the room. And often when you're in a big room of people where there's lots of different energies and lots of different requirements of what people would want you to be, you just stay quiet. Like, you don't say anything. People might think that you're shy because you're not saying anything. That's very much me. Like, I'm not a shy person, don't get me wrong, but if I'm in a room full of people, the reason why I probably don't want to speak is because there's probably too many people who I need to mold myself into something else for them to accept me. And that just kind of portrays the stark reality of how people pleasing is not sustainable, it's not effective, and it's not a realistic thing for you to do and to sustain for your whole life. Like, it's not feasible. People pleasing, for a lot of us, is kind of a way of us to control the narrative and control what people think of us, but it's not effective, and it's not true, and it's not useful for us, because we can't control what people think of us, quite frankly. People are seeing from their own lens. They are seeing their world through their own frequency, their own rose-tinted glasses, or maybe shit-smeared glasses. People see the world as they want to see it. So no matter how much you try to change yourself and mold yourself into who they want you to be, you're never going to be exactly how you want them to think that you are, because they're just going to have their own preconceived notion of you. So it's like you are spending all of this energy trying to kind of keep up this image of who you want to be, but it's not fucking working. Your efforts are redundant. I noticed this with myself. Like, when I'm in any kind of environment, like I spend a lot of time at home. I spend a lot of time with myself, introspecting, healing. I love that kind of stuff. I'm an introvert, I love it. But when I go out into the world, which I also love, I've got a little bit of extrovert in me, but I notice so many things about myself, and I learn so many things about myself. And after going away last week, I realised that I do still have that, like, that urge come up to people please and to say what I think that people want to hear. Like, say if I do something that I don't want to do, I am so good at convincing the people who I'm going out with that I actually want to do what I'm doing. And they don't think there's any problem. They're just like, oh, cool, amazing. And I'm secretly just suffering in silence. I'm just sat there like, oh my God, like, I don't want to be here. And then I get resentful. And then I end up wanting to, like, fucking bitch about everyone, like, in my own mind. And I'm thinking, like, oh my God, these people are awful. Like, they don't consider my feelings. They don't care, blah, blah, blah. But it's not them. It is literally me. Like, I am not even telling those people that I'm uncomfortable or that I don't want to do a certain thing. Like, I just do everything within my means to make them feel comfortable and to make them think that I feel comfortable. And I get home and I think, why do I have no energy? Like, why am I so exhausted and depleted? And it's because I have literally tried to, like, shapeshift into a completely different person, and it is so tiring, so tiring. And I think a lot of us think that we're introverts. We think that we need a lot of time by ourselves to recharge and things like that, but it's probably not the case for some of us. Like, we're probably not introverts. We're probably just so sick of people pleasing and we find it so exhausting, and that's at our own fault. Like, we are doing that to ourselves. There is nothing stopping us from telling people how we feel and being open and honest and vulnerable, other than, I guess, a perceived fear that they're gonna react in an adverse way. Maybe we experienced that in childhood, like when we actually said what we wanted to say or acted how we wanted to act. Maybe our parents didn't like that and we got the backlash of it. We might have been sent to our room, we might have been grounded, verbally abused, all of that kind of stuff, and that has left an imprint on us, on our nervous system, and we do everything in our means to not piss people off because we don't want to feel the scared state that we felt when we was a kid. I genuinely feel unwell when I feel confrontation looming, and I do everything to kind of, like, diffuse it and put out the fire. But then there is a stubborn part of me. There's the inner child who is so freely and authentically herself, and she just wants to be herself. She just wants to go throughout life and not feel so fucking drained by trying to be a different person around everyone. And there's that part of me that does kind of, like, I have that confrontation in me, but it's like, in reality, I don't act upon it because it upsets my nervous system so much to be confrontational with people or to have that confrontation, because I've not truly learned how to deal with that because I avoid it, if you know what I mean. The thing for me that I want to do is I actually want to learn how to be okay with confrontation. Like, I don't want to seek it by any means, but I just want to learn how to be okay with it. I want to learn how to have confrontation and not have it knock me off my feet for a week, because that is what it does. Like, I overthink everything. If I have an argument with somebody, like, I am overthinking it every single second of the day. Like, I can't compartmentalize. It consumes my day. Like, I can't get on with my work. I can't do anything. I am thinking about that one thing. And I guess I'm never going to get better at kind of snapping back from that if I don't put myself in the situations that are uncomfortable like that, and the situations of confrontation where it needs to be happening. I think also because when I was a kid, like, I was a fiery little shit. Like, I was so fiery, I was so stubborn. I would literally fight to the death for my cause. Honestly, like, I would fight so much. And as I got older, as I went into teen years, like, I was still feisty as a teen. But as I got into, like, later teens, 20s, I started to realise, like, I am so tired. Like, I don't want to argue with people anymore. And I was kind of like, because I was around so many people who just wanted to argue with me, that's why it was exhausting me. And I think that's why I'm so, like, reluctant to get involved in a confrontation now, because I just think, like, oh, it feels icky. It feels horrible for my nervous system. But, like, I need to understand that that's not my reality anymore, and I'm not in that situation. But, like, it's hard. But I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it. I wanted to see if any of you guys relate with this, with people pleasing, because I have my periods where I'm so confident, I'm so strong, and I will stand up for myself and I'll feel fine. But, like, the majority of the time, I don't feel that. Like, the majority of the time I'm a bit more like, I just want to chill. Like, I just want to be happy. I just want to relax. But the thing is with life, like, we all want to be happy. That's what we all aim for. But, like, that is not realistic to think that you will always be happy. And I think sometimes we avoid shit thinking that it will make us happy, but it doesn't, because you still carry that burden. Like, if you've not had that confrontation, you'll think that you've like saved your nervous system or whatever, but you're not, because you're still torturing yourself in your own time, just not kind of inflicting anything on anyone else, but you're inflicting all of it on you, when you could kind of share the load and have the confrontation, have it out with the other person and tell them how you feel. Another thing that came up for me about people pleasing that I realized the other day is that when you are a people pleaser, you make other people comfortable to make you uncomfortable. Like, I feel like I am so good at allowing other people to make me feel uncomfortable and to not feel any kind of remorse or any kind of like backlash from their actions. They can just do that and they don't know that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not humbling anybody else. Like, I'm not putting them in their place. Not that I should have to put them in their place, but do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not giving them that life lesson of, no, don't fuck with me, like, don't insult me, don't make me feel uncomfortable. And they just continue to do that. So it's actually bad for the other person, because they're not having the self-awareness that they need in order to improve and become a better person or whatever, if they choose to take on that feedback. But like, you are just allowing other people to just feel so comfortable with making you uncomfortable. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I am fed up of other people feeling like they can trauma dump on me and they can tell me shit that is actually very hurtful for me. Like, they're kind of letting everything off their chest in like a therapy way. They think it's like a safe space, whatever. But at the same time, they are simultaneously insulting me. They're saying something that insults me and my character, but they're saying it in a way that's making them feel better because they're getting things off their chest, and they're kind of like putting themselves on a pedestal, and I'm allowing that. Like, I'm allowing the people to put themselves on a pedestal above me because I want them to feel happy and comfortable. It is my worst nightmare to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I hate it. I hate making anyone feel uncomfortable. I know some people live for it. Some people love that shit. But I hate it. I hate to think that I've ever upset anyone, that I've ever made anyone feel a certain kind of way. So like, it does just hurt me, because I think like, oh my god, like, these people are saying all this shit to me and like, they're upsetting me. They're saying hurtful things about me, but they're saying it in a way that's making themselves feel better, so I just kind of allow it. And then I just feel like shit. I feel really resentful. And I don't want to continue to do that. Like, I want to stand up for myself. If people are saying things that are insulting to me, or saying things that are kind of belittling me in order for them to kind of make themselves feel better about themselves, I want to be self-assured enough. Like, I want to be confident enough to say like, no, actually, I don't like that. Like, that's not very nice. Do you know what I mean? Like, just to kind of confront that, so that it makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable. Because why should I have to take on the burden of all the discomfort of the relationship, of the friendship? And I think this is why I end up like I kind of end up isolating myself a lot and demonizing other people, because I think like, nobody gives a shit. Like, everyone just wants to spend time with me because they want to feel better and they don't want to be uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. But it's because I am allowing myself to be like a therapist for other people, like to heal other people. I want other people to feel good after having an interaction with me, but at the same time, I'm disregarding myself and how I feel and what's actually hurting me. So what you find, like, when you're a person like this, like, you can be quite, it can be mistaken for being quite magnetic, because people just are gravitated towards you. Like, they want to spend time with you because you are a beacon of light and you are sharing all of your love and light with them. You're doing everything in your power to make them not feel shit about themselves, to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel good. And at the same time, they're probably tearing you down. And it's like, they take everything from you and then they run with it. They go, they live their life, they do whatever. You probably don't hear from them for a while. You are left in the trenches feeling shit, and then you have to gradually build yourself up, and then once you've built yourself up, that's when they come around again, because their energy has been depleted again, because they don't know how to sustain it themselves. So they come back to you, and then you allow the cycle to repeat. Like, you make them feel better, and then they fuck off, and then you make yourself feel better, and then they come back. It's like, they only want to spend time with you when they feel bad and you feel good. And I can't blame people for doing that when I am actually actively allowing people to make me feel uncomfortable, and I'm allowing people to take my energy. It's not their fault that they're taking my energy. Like, I am self-aware enough to know what drains my energy, and I'm self-aware enough to say, no, I don't want to do that. Like, no, I'm busy. And I do that quite a lot now. Like, I do say to people like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not free, because I am not going to put myself in a situation where people can just make me feel like shit in order to make themselves feel better and then fucking run with it. So that's another thing. That's another downfall of being a people pleaser. I'm feeling very like enraged, but in a good way. When I talk about rage, like this is what I mean. This is the feeling that I get. Like I just kind of let everything off my chest. I kind of step into my villain era a little bit and it feels good. It feels good to do this. It feels good to get things off your chest. And it's the way that you move the needle in your life. It's the way that you figure out what you like and what you don't like. Like these are all the things that I'm talking about are things that I don't like, and once you're aware of those things you can actually make changes to not be like that. Now I have this physical evidence of me saying all of this stuff, and it's the same with journaling. Once you've like journaled out all the things that you feel, you have that physical evidence to kind of hold yourself accountable. You've literally got it right there in your journal or right here on your camera how you're feeling. And for you to do anything that is to continue to make yourself feel shit is going to feel so much more difficult because you're aware of it. Like you might still do it. I'm probably still going to people please. I'm not going to lie. Like I am still a people pleaser. I'm still going to make mistakes, but it's so much harder for you to kind of fall back into old habits when you are actively aware of it, when you're saying it out loud, when you're journaling it. And this is why I always advocate journaling. It is so important. But yes, let me know what you guys think on this, if you can relate to anything that I'm saying. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to the things I'm saying because, I don't know, I feel like we get each other, we all get each other. But yeah, I hope you're all doing okay. Let me know how you're getting on and I will see you and speak to you in my next video. Bye!